Today, I'm giving you 8 ways to increase your chances of getting your offer accepted on a home when it comes to a highest and best deadline. My name is Shaden Gramling, and I'm a real estate agent here in New Jersey as well as New York City. When a seller receives multiple bids for a highest and best deadline, one of the first things that they look at is the price, of course. However, there are a few other terms that they look for in order to make them go with an offer over the rest. And I'm going to discuss those terms in this video. Number 1, let's talk about the appraisal waiver. I usually don't recommend waiving the full appraisal, but rather a portion of it. For example, if you're offering $800,000 on a home that has an asking price of $750,000, so you're $50,000 above the asking price. If you were to waive the appraisal down to the asking price, that means you're waiving $50,000 on the appraisal. So if the home appraises for $750,000 or more, you are responsible for moving forward with the deal and filling any appraisal gaps. However, if the home appraises for below the asking price, then you have the right to go back and try to renegotiate the price with the seller. Now let's talk about the inspection waiver. Again, in this scenario, just like the appraisal, I don't recommend waiving the inspection in full, but rather waiving a portion of it. And you can do this in a couple of ways. The first way to do this is by limiting the inspection to certain major items, such as limiting it to major structural, environmental, or mechanical issues. So that means you're waiving anything cosmetic that comes up. So if there's a crack in a window, or a rip in a rug that is installed, or a scratch on the hardwood floor, those are cosmetic issues, and those are not things that you would go to the seller to ask them to repair or to give you a credit for. However, if anything major comes up in any of those other things that I mentioned, so say there's a crack in the foundation that the inspector finds, or there's an oil tank and there's actually a leak from it, that falls under environmental. The foundation falls under structural. So you would still be protected by that inspection clause as long as you keep those components in there. Another way to waive a portion of the inspection is by a dollar amount. For example, you could say you're waiving the first $5,000 in repairs on the inspection, or $10,000. So that means when you come up with your list of items for the seller to address, you're waiving that first portion of it. So say there's $10,000 in repairs and you waived $5,000 on it, you would only ask the seller for a $5,000 credit. So the difference between the $5,000 that you waived and the $10,000 in total repairs. Sticking with the inspection, a third way to increase your chances of getting your offer accepted is by shortening the amount of time that you're going to get your inspection done and get your request in after attorney review is over. So typically you have 10 days after attorney review concludes to get your inspection done and get your requests in. However, you can tighten that and maybe do 7 days instead. This shows the seller that you're not going to waste any time. You're going to get your inspection done, let them know of any issues that you want corrected, so that you can move on to the next thing and possibly close even sooner. This also is enticing to the seller because if there's anything major that does come up in the inspection that makes you feel uncomfortable moving forward, they can put the home back on the market or reach out to any backup offers without losing as many days. So if you're doing 7 days instead of 10, that saves them 3 days. Another way that you can make your offer look more attractive to a seller is by shortening the amount of time to get your initial deposit in. Once attorney review concludes, your initial deposit is usually due within 10 calendar days. However, you can shorten that amount of time, let's say between 3 and 5 days after attorney review concludes. This shows the seller that you're ready to move quickly, to move forward with the next steps. And for them, the sooner that they get your deposit, the more secure they feel with the deal moving forward. The fifth thing that you can do is offer a quick closing. If you're getting a mortgage, you are limited to the time constraints of your lender. However, Many lenders can do quick closings. I have one who's able to do one in as little as 30 days, sometimes even a little shorter. Typically, the timeline is 45 to 60 days, but if you want to make your offer look more enticing, then maybe offer 30 days. Keep this in mind though. You want to make sure that the seller is looking for a quick closing, because not all sellers are. Some want a 60-day close or a few months even, because they might need some time to find their next home after going under contract with you to sell their home. So that's why it's always important before you submit an offer to get those guidelines from the seller or from the seller's agent to make sure what they want is in line with what you're willing to offer. The sixth way to increase your chances of getting your offer accepted in a highest and best is by offering an odd number. Many people will submit an even offer in like $5,000 increments or $10,000 increments. So for example, offering $800,000 on a home, $800,000 flat. What you can do to try to push yourself ahead is offer another $1,000 or $1,500 or $1,700. So for example, instead of offering $800,000 on a home, offer $801,000 or $801,200. Sometimes that extra little bit does push your offer above the second highest offer. Now we're getting to the bottom of the list. So we're at number 7, which is to either pay cash for your offer or put a little bit more money down if you can. Sellers like cash offers because 1, you can close quicker, and 2, you don't have to worry about any appraisal issues there, because the only time you need an appraisal is if you are using a lender. Putting more money down is enticing to a seller because it shows that you're more financially stable to move forward, and if you are putting down enough money, usually if you have any appraisal issues, you can use some of that down payment to cover an appraisal gap, where a lender will just increase your LTV to cover that instead of you coming out of pocket. So that makes the seller feel more comfortable. Lastly, the 8th way to make your offer look more enticing to a seller, or to a seller's agent in this case, is by using the right team. What I mean by that is by using reputable lenders, attorneys, and even your real estate agent. I've done deals where my client's offer and another offer were tied for first place, but I won the offer because my client was using more reputable people, such as their attorney, who was well known in the city that they were offering in, and their lender, who is reputable and local to this market. So this made the seller's agent and the seller feel more comfortable going with us, knowing that we would make sure we got the deal done, versus the other offer who might not have been using as reputable lenders or attorneys. Those are 8 ways that you can increase your chances of getting your offer accepted when it comes to a highest and best deadline situation. If you have any questions about this, or if you're looking to buy or sell a home here in New Jersey, please reach out to me. I'm always happy to help. Again, my name is Shanan Gramling, and if you found this video to be helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos where I give property tours and real estate advice, and I'll see you in the next one.